Hi dear partners and tutors. Today I will talk about Australia. Being culturally sensitive is key in our globalized world. It's not enough to say that the people of country X are like that. It is important to look for underlying values that can explain a particular behavior to practice cultural sensitive. A good example is if you want to visit Australia, you should first know part of their beliefs, attitudes, customs, behavior, social habits, among others. That is, Australia is one of the most advanced countries in the world in equality and respect for diversity, regardless of gender, religious belief, sexual preference, or class difference. It is assumed that love never felt as well as eye contact when speak. The family, the friendship, and the neighborhood are very present values in the collective and social imaginary, making Australia a very pleasant place. In any case, Australia has the habit of being very polite, never missing the thanks or please, although they don't like too much formality and condensation of the deal in which you must understand. In relation to this, one of the Australian customs that can surprise us the most in his greeting attention. For them, it is acceptable to greet someone they don't know with a hello, what's wrong? For example, when entering a cafeteria. One of the customs of Australians is usually do barbecues. If you are invited to a barbecue in Australia and you wonder what you can take, I'll give you the answer. If you are invited to a barbecue, you should bring some good and refreshing beers. One of the Australian customs is precisely to offer guests a tea with a bit of food both in the morning and in the afternoon. A typical custom also in the United Kingdom. It is expected that it's not acceptable for you to refuse it, and you should have arrived 10 minutes before the hour of the invitation to check breakfast in the morning, lunch at midday, or take a break in the afternoon. It is not acceptable that you arrive late. You can expect to wear formal clothes. Another of the funniest Australian customs is that if you hear someone shout "asi, in which you must answer "oi, oi, oi." This curious sound of warriors is used mainly in sporting events when Australians want to support their sports athletes. Sunday is still the official day dedicated to the family, or the beach goes to the mall, the garden of the house is taken care of, and improvements are made in the happiness the car is taken care of. They will be fun if you want to share with the Australian people. Sunday is also the day to attend cricket and rugby games on television, as well as in car races, or take advantage of the lazy day for hiking in the mountains. Weekends are the days when we drink, or they drink the most in Australians. Science beer is still the popular drink, mainly in pubs. Eating out on Sunday is a way for Australians to rest from the tasks of the week. You don't have to cook or wash the dishes. To finish, the best advice I can give you is to make friends abroad. You can make this great world seem a little smaller and help you feel more connected wherever you go. Thank you to all. I hope you liked it. Goodbye.
Hi partner, hi tutors. In this moment I describe the Mexican cultural custom and beliefs. The Mexican nation was a colony of Spain from 16th century to the 19th century, which is the many aspects of Spanish culture are present in Mexico today. The characteristics from the Mexico is the cultural first as for the Mexico cultural, you have to keep in mind you are for variety of aspects of diverse people. The cultural simulation for the other societies, it should also be not the main future on this culture, the tradition and custom dating from the pre-Hispanic peoples and everything that corresponding to the colonial period. So, in Mexico, they're done, see, more 140 varieties of the chile and many other now. Chile is the fruit various fruit, spice, sonish, a canister or jalapeno, which are used as a condiment and began to the consumption in the early as 500 BC. There are many varieties for the best now are the chile piquin, jalapeno pepper, chile habanero, or chipotle chile. For is the part in Mexico City, the federal district, and the most important urban space in the country, taking into account that the population is more than the 8 million inhabitants. Therefore, is a like more relevant urban culture of the world because it's the population density event arrives to be bigger in the American continent. In this moment, in Mexico, exists different festival and celebrations. See, because it's the within the customer and tradition of the Mexican cultural is also Holy Week. This correspondent of the week Easter in the country where the date Jesus in commemorate by and for this usually carry out the different parades and various manifestos cultural events in representation of what happened in relation in the history of the Jesus and the life. So in the different festivities or celebrations, the most important festivities celebration in Mexico are first, the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead is the celebration in November 1 or 2 of each year. This one on the most important national level and one of the most organization worldwide. The celebration of the pre-Columbian dishonors at the Lady of Death. And the ancestor rally, this is more days. This lady is the name Katrina, and it takes and the ancestor is in the cemeteries of the Mexico, where the relatives make gravestones in the offer fruit or the deceased or the yellow and red flowers. In the number 2, the celebration is the Day of the Revolution. This festival is celebrated in November 20. This is the commemoratives of the day the Mexican Revolution of the 1810 is the which at the over of the dictator José de la Cruz Porfirio Díaz. The celebration number 3 in Mexico is the Day of the Virgin of the Guadalupe. It is the Catholic celebration in December 12 during the dates devotees make Pulver the Basilica Santa Marta Guadalupe in Mexico DF. Number 4 is the Posadas. The Posadas is the celebration begins in December 18 until Christmas Eve, where the children participation in the procession in young people, where the custom is similar as those used by Jose and Maria, then the time and go from in another where the offering in a which make or small party with the typical food in the fireworks. Is the all the characteristics and customers for the Mexico. I hope you like. I hope the comments. Bye bye.
Greetings, my name is Ruistela. I'm gonna be talking about Japan, and I'm gonna say hello in Japanese, konnichiwa, and also gonna say thank you as a really formal way to say in Japanese, that is domo arigato gozaimasu. Domo arigato gozaimasu. Japan is a really extensive country. The capital is Tokyo. The population is about 127 millions. Even though it's small, the population is really extensive. It's about 145,000 square miles. It's not as big as other countries, but there's a lot of people in Japan. The major religion is Shinto and Buddhism. The language is Japanese. It has 4 seasons. Life expectancy is about 83 years. The currency is the yen. The Japanese language is spoken about by 127 million speakers. They are not related to Chinese, but they have extensive use of Chinese characters like kanji, and a large portion of this vocabulary is borrowed from the Chinese language. The writing Japanese is a little bit difficult because they have 3 ways of scripts. One is kanji, that is adapted from the Chinese characters, and the main script is hiragana and katakana. The Latin script is used in a limited fashion, like for important acronyms, and the numerical system is mainly Arabic numerals, along with Chinese numerals. In Japan, the etiquette and customs are really important. People greet each other like bowing like this, getting the head a little bit down. It depends on the status of the person, or if they're really close or relatives, how they bow. Like it ranges for a small bow to nod the head in informal situations. If you bend your head a lot at the waist, it indicates a lot of respect for others. Like for a foreigner, is not usually to do that in Japan, and Japanese don't expect that foreigner another culture or know how to do the bow. But like in another countries, in Japan it's not common to shake hands. Another thing that is not common is like to get tips in a restaurant. You don't tip in a restaurant in another place. Tipping is like rules there. Shoes. Another interesting fact is shoes are removed not only in the home but also in many other places like restaurants, temples, castles, historic buildings. Even like when you go to the restaurant, they have special slippers, so you can take your shoes off and put those slippers and get into the restaurant. The number 4 is a bad number for Japan. It's unlucky number, like for our culture the 13, yes, is usually a unlucky number, a bad number. The 4 is the number 4 is avoid at all costs. Like you don't buy like 4 cookies, 4 pens, no, never. You can buy 3 or 5, but not 4, because the number 4 is related with the word of death in Japan. So it's extremely unlucky, and they, even though in buildings they don't have the number 4, they had 3 and they jump to 5. Blowing your nose in public is considered rude. If you're sick, you're better try not to do that because it's considered really, really rude. Walking and eating is seen as sloppy, so people, you're not gonna see people in Japan like walking on the street and eating things. No, not like here in Colombia or in another countries like people used to do that. Like in the subway, people tend to travel for long hours, so they tend to go and sleep in the shoulder of the people that are sitting next to them. That doesn't happen here, but in Japan that's very common, and they tolerate that. They if someone fell asleep in your shoulder, you should make the sleeping person really comfortable. So you just lay your shoulder so the people sleep well in the period of the travel. Another thing is like when you go to visit someone, you should always bring gifts. That's an honor in Japan to invite someone home, and if this happens, you must bring a gift. Maybe the gift is not gonna be open at the moment, but it's gonna suggest a lot of respect. It's not the importance of the gift. It doesn't have to be something special or expensive. It's like how you wrap the gift. If you put a lot of effort on wrapping the gift, it's gonna be really nice. And another thing that is considered like rude is if you're drinking with someone, taking the bottle and put it in your glass. That's considered rude. You should wait for someone else to put in your glass. And also to do the toast, that's kanpai. In Japanese, kanpai. You should wait for someone else to do the kanpai. So you don't do the toast in Japan. You are not from the culture, so you just wait. Slurping, like slurping noodles is like polite, really polite, because you're telling people that you enjoy the meal. So slurping is not seen bad as in our culture. Like in our culture, when we slurp even a soda, it looks like really rude, really bad, but not in Japan. In Japan, it looks like polite. What else? Yes, flowers are not meant to send in Japan because mostly like white flowers are for the funerals. So there is some another flowers like tulipans. They don't send tulipans because they are for funerals. So flowers are mainly avoided in Japan. For the meetings, people tend to show a lot of respect when they pass the presentation card. Is advised to have one side in Japanese and another side in your language, and you just present that card. The people are not gonna just go take the card and put it in their wallet or their pocket. They just gonna put the card on the table and wait for other people until they leave, so to take that card. It's really important that in the presentation card you put your like your title, so they know the status, your status in the company. A lot of people, when they leave the room, like Japanese, they go walking backside. They don't just turn and leave. No, they just go walking backside, just telling how much they respect you. Um, they dress really like formal. Men tend to use black suit and white t-shirt, and the woman always avoid like mini skirts. They use skirts but till the knee or down the knee. They don't exaggerate on the makeup, and I think they like in business meeting they wait that when you go to a business meeting you go with the best deal. They don't wait to fight with you, they don't want to argue with you, because they present the best offer they have, and that's they waiting for you, the best offer you can give to them. It's important that when you're in a meeting, like for them to take notes and clarify everything that is being said. They're very open to dialogue with you if you're in a business meeting. I think that's it for today. It was a pleasure. I love the Oriental culture, Japanese, Chinese, the really nice culture. That's what I chose this country to talk about, and it's something really interesting because they are really, for me, they're really polite. And as a Latin person, I think I can learn a lot from that culture.